to The Cosmic Entrepreneur, the podcast where mystical wisdom meets the world of entrepreneurship. I'm your host, Christine, and I'm honoured to be your guide on this cosmic journey of self-discovery and business success. Each month, we'll explore the fascinating realms of spirituality, energy healing, astrology, Akashic records, many other esoteric practices, and multidimensional aspects of entrepreneurship. Through open conversations, shared experiences, and practical insights, my intention is to empower you to integrate these profound teachings into your personal and professional life, helping you manifest abundance, align to your highest timeline, and make a difference in the world. Whether you are an inspiring entrepreneur, a seasoned business owner, or simply curious about the intersection of spirituality and success, this podcast is here to enlighten, empower, and elevate you. Hello everybody, we have fabulous Aisling today in our studio. Aisling is a holistic practitioner from North Cork. She specializes in Rahanni energy healing and Lomi Hawaiian massage. She also holds weekly group meditation classes, workshops and retreats. Welcome, Aisling. I'm so happy that you're here with us today. I would love for you to share your story. So how did your spiritual journey begin, or would you like to tell us just a little bit about yourself so we get warmed up?
Perfect. Thanks so much, first of all, Christine, for having me on. I'm delighted to be able to have the chats here with you. So yeah, I'll start by telling you a little bit about myself. So I am the eldest of three. I was born in San Francisco to Irish parents, and we lived there for about 6 years. So I did my first year of school over there, and we moved back to Ireland in 95, which was a huge transition for me. So I can't say that I began my spiritual awakening then, but the more I suppose that I get into this type of work, I do feel that had a major impact on me, especially on the root chakra. So I remember even, before we moved back, I was big into Irish dancing and loved Irish dancing and was involved in competitions and stuff at that stage. So I was still even traumatized at the idea of not being able to pursue that in America. So we moved back to Ireland, and my parents built a home here, and I did settle into school and all of that, because I did have plenty of cousins around, as a lot of Irish families do. And yeah, from there, I did my secondary school locally in that, and felt that I wanted to be a physio. And at the time, I decided to actually defer the course that I got. I didn't get enough points for physio. So I deferred, I suppose, a secondary route to physio. And I did a course in beauty and body therapy. So I suppose I've been kind of in the line of massage and that since 2006. And then from there, I took lots of different paths, delved in and out of, different things. And I suppose in recent years, I am a wife. I am a mom to 3 young kids. My eldest turning 8 tomorrow. So we have a boy. Yeah, thank you. So we have Joey, and then we have two daughters as well. And I suppose I got into kind of holistic therapies. I started up my business, Cacao Massage Therapy, just over 2 years ago now. So when I was on unpaid maternity leave with our youngest little girl, Summer, I decided that I wanted to not be working, I suppose, full time. I had been in a position with a public service job. And I suppose even to go back a little bit further, after we had our first daughter, Robin, in 2019, I remember literally from the moment I had her, I started affirming I enjoy being at home with my family whilst having the finances to maintain our current lifestyle or better. And before I had
It's
Robin,
beautiful.
I had been working full time in a public service job, which I always felt very neutral about. There were so many perks to it. I had my flexi time. I had my paid holidays, all of those, perks that you have,
Lovely
bank
benefits, yeah.
holidays and Monday to Friday, all those kind of things. And I did enjoy it as well to a certain degree. So I remember, affirming that all of the time. And every so often I get worried about, well, how is this actually going to manifest? How am I going to be able to do this? And I can't say that I manifested COVID, but when I was due to go back to the office in April 2020, COVID was there. So I ended up working from home. Our son Joey was in play school at the time, but obviously only in and out of play school with COVID. So I worked from home, which was ideal. Things were much quieter, even office wise, and it was completely acceptable to have your kids at home with you anyway. So I had the two lads at home with me, and I suppose that ever before I went back to the office, I ended up being pregnant with our third little one, Summer. And in the meantime, I had done a course back in Killorglin and Kerry in the Lomi massage. After we'd had Robin, I just remember meeting a friend of mine, and she was like, Aisling, I went for this Lomi massage with the lady in Limerick. She's on Instagram, Manoa Holistic Therapies. Marzena is her name. Beautiful Polish lady. And she said, you would love this. And I suppose the more that I've looked into my human design and that, I'm a manifesting generator. And it's like, I just follow the thread. So it was like, okay, let me see what this is about. So made an appointment. And from there, I ended up going to Killorglin, studying the Lomi massage. And my husband built a cabin for me. I'm going to say early 2020. And he was getting to the point where he was actually saying to me, Ashley, I'm going to sell this cabin if you don't start using it. So after we had Summer in 2021, and she was born in June 21, I started taking clients in kind of March 22 time. So yeah, that's kind of the gist of my story, or a little bit about me.
I actually remember you sharing this story. I think, do you know what? I was like, how do I know Aisling? I'm just trying to remember. We just kind of clicked. Did we do Liz's workshop together? Did we do the Vegas Nerve?
No, but I've worked with
No?
Liz since then. No.
Okay. Oh, maybe it's just going to be connected through Liz. I'm just like trying
No.
to think back. Yeah, that's so interesting because I remember following you on Instagram and you were sharing your story how you were like thinking about leaving your your
Mm,
job to stay
mm,
home with your babies, and then you're like, oh,
mm,
I want to be full time here, do my holistic therapies. And
mm,
then one week you said, I've left, I made that step. And
mm,
oh yeah, it was just so cool to see and so exciting because it is a big step to
mm,
leave something that we feel is secure. And especially
mm,
like in the midst of when, say, COVID happened and nothing was secure, like nobody
mm,
knew what was going to happen. And we're all trying to find our feet. We were all trying to see, kind of plan and control something, but you really kind of couldn't. So you really had to make choices. So it's like based
mm,
not on fear, and it's exactly what you
mm,
did. You were like following your gut, like a proper
mm,
manifesting generator. You're like, because the way you started your story, you were like, so I started in was a physio, then I was doing beauty, and I could see, I was like, oh wow, yeah, I can see Ashley doing beauty. And And all of these different modalities and therapies that you did, and it's such a manifesting generator thing to do. I know you're like, okay, so even now, you are doing so many different therapies. So I feel like you're offering the Lomi Hawaiian massage, you're doing Rahanni, and I can't wait, and ceremonies, and I can't wait to get in all that. And I just wanted to say, when you were talking about the Lomi massage, and you said it was like, it's basically kind of an energy healing massage, isn't it? Because I had one done before, and a few times by this therapist. Her name is Ashling as well. So I was like, oh my God, her name is Ashling too. And every time I come out, floating out of the room, like for the whole day, I'm
Wow.
just chilled out. Like I'm just on cloud nine. I'm like, wow, she's just like an earth angel. It's like a massage and energy together.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd love to come down to you one day. How would you describe it? Like, what exactly is it? Like, what are the benefits of getting it? Like, I know the benefits
Yeah.
because I know you're
Yeah.
like on cloud nine. But
Yes. So I suppose it's quite different to any other type of massage that I've ever had. So originally I would have trained in Swedish massage. And I mean every type of massage has its benefits. But just thinking of like Swedish massage, you're looking at the physical benefits, the increase in circulation around the body, the increase in lymphatic flow, breaking down any tension in the body. And of course, you do get the release of endorphins. So you get that feel good effect too. But how Lomi massage differs is there's a spiritual element to it. So, as well as having that physical massage, there's the spiritual component. So, when I started to learn it, like there's lots of different, I suppose, teachings within it. It's like an ancient type of massage that was passed down through families in Hawaii. And there's a couple of different principles. One of them being everything seeks harmony and everything seeks love. So often when we're out of balance, just say mentally, emotionally, it can impact us physically. So it's like that saying, even of feeling like you've got the weight of the world on your shoulders. Like most people can resonate with that. The feeling of almost like having a concrete block on your shoulders, but you know that there's actually nothing physically sitting there, but it's whatever emotionally that you're carrying around is impacting the shoulders. Or oftentimes just think, even if somebody gave you a call to say that there was something wrong with one of your family members, or whatever the case may be, it'll often impact your gut straight away. People may not be able to eat or go to the loo often, or so on.
Yeah.
Another one of the principles is like, now is the moment of power. There are no limits. So that's why I chose Kala. Kala in Hawaiian terms means there are no limits. So everything is energy. There are no physical boundaries. So the only limitations that there are those that we create within the mind. So from the point of view of receiving Lomi massage, it's long flowing strokes. There's a lot of forearm movements with it. And I typically ask the client at the start if there's a specific intention that they'd like to set for the treatment. And I get them to hold that within their heart space, within their mind for the treatment. And I call that in as well. So there's an element of prayer involved as well. And it's silent prayer. So I'm not going to be praying out loud whilst you're receiving a massage. So it's silent prayer. And essentially what it is that I'm calling in whatever healing the client needs at that time, always in harmony with the nervous system and for the client's highest and greatest good. And I will say to people as well, often the mixture of being still, the mixture of the touch, emotion can come. So depending on where the client is at, like there's been times where you know, you will have clients, if you just touch a particular part of the body, there may be some trauma stored there and emotion will flow, which is always welcomed in my space as well. I will always say to people, you'll feel so much lighter after a good cry, and it helps to regulate the nervous system as well. So I'm very comfortable with tears. With that being said, if there are no tears, it doesn't mean that it's any less beneficial or to the client.
It sounds so angelic, like, and I can totally see myself coming to you and absolutely bawling all over your pillow. It sounds very, very led, and it's going to bring me to think, oh, that's why you were maybe called to do Rahanni. I think I've received it distantly once, and the energy, like distantly, was so beautiful. What made you train up in Rahanni? Because I just feel like that it's a really good mix, like to do even like a mix of Rahanni and the massage.
Yes, absolutely. And like that, when I took a career break almost a year ago now. And I remember like that, when your logical mind comes in, it was like, oh God, sure, I'm not going to be able to do massage. Like my intention was never to work full time anyway, because my main priority is raising the three of our smallies. And so I never wanted to get too busy that I wasn't going to see them that often or whatever. But I remember thinking, sure, there's no way that I'm going to be able to see, I don't know, 10 clients a week for massage, because I know you can't see me in stature now, but like I'm 5'3", I'm a slight girl. I was like, I'm not built for massaging all day long, even though I really enjoyed it. So then I had been thinking, there was one or two clients even at the start, when I was doing the Lomi massage. I remember even the first week that I started, a girl that came to me, and as I was massaging her head, she was like, Aisling, I'm seeing colours. She said, you need to do energy healing, because there's something there already. And then I remember another client coming to me not that long afterwards as well, and they when I'd finished the massage, they were like, Aisling, what type of energy healing were you doing? And I'm like, that's my own, like, as in whatever was just flowing through me. And I know that feeling myself, because I know even not that long ago, we were in Spain for a wedding, and I went in for this to this place for like a deep tissue massage. But as soon as the girl put her hands on me, I was like, no, this is more than a deep tissue massage. There's a very different feeling when you're getting a massage from somebody that does, I suppose, have a spiritual connection, or, you know, a spiritual, I suppose spiritual connection is the right way of saying it. You feel different from their touch, whether it's that you're seeing stars or you're seeing kind of colors. So it's beautiful to be able to receive them both at once. So with the Rahanni, I had been following Kathy McCarthy's page for some time. She's the Enlightened Heart Seer, and I'd actually been really inspired by her story, because she was a nurse, and she'd left her job to follow her heart into what she wanted to do. So she was running her Rahanni training, and I actually ended up on her first training that she gave. I had been thinking Reiki, and then a few people had mentioned Rahanni, and that Rahanni is, I suppose, a much newer modality, and it's said to be a higher vibration than Reiki as well. So it's come earthside much more recently than Reiki, and it's said to be for this new age, this new earth that we're moving into, because we're raising consciousness globally all the time. And Rahanni really focuses on the heart center. So it brings us back to our essence, which Rahanni says is truth, love, and compassion. So it just really called me, and it was a 1-day training. And from there, it really meant then that I was able to almost have my massage time. The clients were still getting as much or if not more benefits, because I suppose my most popular treatment went from being a 60-minute Lomi full body massage to a 30-minute Lomi back, neck and shoulder massage followed by 30 minutes of Rahanni. So they're still getting a 60-minute treatment. It was still priced the same and everything, whereas they were getting the benefits of both modalities. Yeah, so it was like I just took the first step with the Lomi massage, and logically I was like, I'm not going to be able to do all this massage. And then very quickly I ended up doing the Rahanni training, and yeah, it was like another string to my bow, I suppose.
You were talking there was like kind of pink energy around you, and I think you're wearing a pink top as well. I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah. Very heart-led.
Yeah, and for some reason, I was going to say, even in the last couple of weeks, I feel, and I had been thinking I'd love to go for like another attunement in Rahanni, but I feel that it's got even stronger. And there's been a couple of sessions recently where I'm like blown away by what has come through.
And I also wanted to ask you about the cacao as well, because I know that's really hard led as well, and I love working with cacao as well. And I think I first had my cacao ceremony, it was kind of North Cork as well, and it was with AOC. Is it AOC yoga?
Yes,
I think and
lovely.
Oh my God, and it was my first. Yeah, and it was ages ago, and I remember just driving. I just got this like feeling I had to get there, like no explanation. And it was like, I remember it took me an hour and a half, and I was like 20 minutes late. And I said, I am so sorry because I got lost, but it's just me and my adventures. When I know I need to be somewhere, I'm like, right, I'm on the road, I'm in the car, I'm like, I just have to be there. And it was really profound. I remember just sitting in ceremony, and it was my first time we were like, there was like more being than doing. It was like you have to be with this energy. You have to like sit with yourself. And at first you kind of are really uncomfortable at the start, because you're like, oh, I really have to sit with myself. And but then you're like, oh, okay, what, like, why are you not uncomfortable? Like, and then you're like, oh, okay. And then like all these emotions and everything kind of comes up, and then you start journaling. You're like, oh my gosh, it's a very profound experience if you're sitting in it and if it's done right. So so how did you start? I'm not surprised you're working with cacao because you're so heart-led, and you're doing the Lomi and the Rahanni. How did you start working with it, and what are the benefits of working with cacao? Because I feel like everybody's kind of using the cacao, but maybe there's some people that don't really understand what it is. And would you be able to explain what it is to us?
Yeah, so cacao is a beautiful plant medicine. It is a fruit. It's grown in a pod. And yes, it is chocolate in its purest form. But we all know that chocolate is very commercialized. It's been put through lots of different processes, lots of different additives to it. So I suppose how cacao differs is cacao is grown with the intention of healing, love and healing. And for anyone who is familiar with shamanism, it's believed in shamanism that everything has a spirit, and cacao being no different to that. So you often hear of people referring to Mama Cacao, and Mama Cacao is believed to be a very wise, compassionate woman. So as I say, it's grown with the intention of love and healing. So at every stage of the process, the cacao is infused with prayers. So it's a sacred medicine. And like that ceremonial cacao, the type of cacao that I use and I stock is called Cacao. It's a Balinese cacao. A really beautiful blend. And like that, if you've had cacao before, and sometimes they can be quite grainy. What I'd say is just give it another go. I don't like coffee, but I've been told it's kind of like a mix between a hot chocolate and a coffee. So you make it with plant-based milk, and you, I suppose, cut off some of the cacao. It comes like in a really solid bar. So you can either shave off some of it or just cut it finely, melt it completely, add your plant-based milk because it doesn't mix well with dairy. And then setting an intention before you drink it is really important. And what I like to do even at ceremonies is calling that intention in via your breath and then breathing the intention into your cup of cacao, and asking Mama Cacao for her help with that intention. And because it's a sacred medicine, I think it's important like that if you can minimize distractions whilst you're having it, and just really take the time to sit with it. I suppose, how often do we sit and consciously drink a cup of anything? So I just think that the cacao should be given that time and space and allow you to connect inwards with it. It is, like, I suppose there's numerous health benefits to it as well. It has anti-anxiety properties, antidepressant properties, as well as being like rich in iron, magnesium. It's a superfood. And it was actually known like as a food of the gods. So like long ago it was used for even the exchange of goods. So it was used like as a form of money, because it was worth so much. If you were going to a cacao ceremony, you'd be drinking a much bigger dose than you would if you were to have it on a daily basis. So it can be drank on a daily basis. And just a smaller dose. The ceremonial dose is quite strong. It's quite heavy. It's thick. And it can be quite bitter by itself as well. So maybe adding an organic honey, but just being conscious that everything else has a spirit as well. So an organic honey is a nice one just to take, I suppose, that bitterness from it. It is an embodiment medicine as well, so it brings you back into the body. And sometimes people will find maybe that the mind is more active after it. And it's just Mama Cacao shining a light on what's already there and what maybe you need to take a look at. I'm trying to think of any other things about it. It is mood altering as well. So it's a beautiful thing. I suppose I love having it as one of the things in my toolbox for, the days that I mightn't feel on top of the world. I'm very passionate about it. And just to say as well, it's known, so when I say it's grown with the intention of healing, in particular, it's known for its heart healing properties. So often, like throughout different painful experiences in our lifetime, we can tend to put up like layers of armor around our heart, which at times we may need. But what I say is that when we have those layers of armor around the heart, whether it's that you're carrying a lot of grief, you're carrying a lot of fear, sadness, loneliness, we are also limiting their opposite emotions. So we're limiting the amount of joy, abundance, prosperity, peace, calm, all of those things which are your birthright, exactly as you are, but sometimes we've forgotten that. So what Mama Cacao helps to do is to peel back those layers of armor in a very gentle way, and like that always in harmony with your nervous system, so that you're opening yourself up to that joy, that prosperity, abundance, and so on.
I find it so like abundant and nurturing when I do have it. It's like a mug of love and joy. And it brings me so much peace and really sparks like some creativity in me. when I'm drinking it, or like I find that I love having it before like any session I do, like
Mm.
whether it is Reiki or Akashics or even going into my own Akashics, I just
Mm.
find it's so like nurturing, and I feel like it gets me back into my heart, because even
Mhm.
like doing the Akashic work, it has to come through the heart, because Akasha is feminine
Mm.
energy. It's very heart led. Oh, I'm always drawn to it, and I'm like, okay, there needs to be some form of a break for me in it too, because I could drink it every day, and not ceremonial doses, but even if it's like
Mhm.
a little drop, I'm like, oh, I'm drinking my cacao.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's
Well,
like my baby blanket. But
yeah, and I actually call it a hug in a mug. That's my go-to, and I would drink it most days. And yeah, I just like at the
yeah,
moment I don't condemn myself for drinking it. I love it. And I suppose I see like lots of people going for coffee and all of that. And cacao does have like stimulant properties, but much milder on the nervous system than the likes of coffee. So
yeah.
I feel that yeah, I deserve my cup of cacao every day if I need it.
Yeah, I definitely. I love like doing like little rituals with it, like little ceremonies, or like my self-care hours coming up. Like it's like doing this whole ritual. I'm all up for
Yeah,
that. Like I'm like,
yeah.
give me that hour, and you just create this fabulous, lovely ceremony for yourself. Do you know your profile numbers? I was gonna say, because I know you're a manifesting generator. Do you
Mm.
know what your profile numbers are? Where
Yeah,
are
I'm a
they?
uh 4 6 or 6 4 4 6 I
Oh,
think. I know I'm a role
oh,
model, and I'm not sure of the other half again. I only did a
yeah.
session
Is it?
recently with Nicole Crosby, and it was just mind blowing.
Oh yeah, yeah. I actually did
But it's
mine
even like when you
with
spoke
her as well.
about, going to the cacao ceremony with, you said AOC yoga, um,
Yeah,
you just said you knew you needed to be there, and that's a real thing for manifesting generators. Like when you're in alignment, we make our decisions with the sacrum. So it's like
mm,
our decision making is instant. So if you say, Ashling, do you want to go to that cacao ceremony? It's either you're being drawn in or your body retracts. And if
yeah,
you go back up into the mind, you've missed the signal. So it's just like, yeah, just
yeah,
following what lights you up and going from there. And it definitely just keeps getting better from
yeah.
there.
I'm excusing laughing because it's just so me as well. I just get this impulse, and I'm like, oh,
Mm,
okay, do I really want it? And I kind of sit with it. I'm like,
mm,
okay, I want it, because I feel it in my
mm.
body. I have to be there, or I have to do this course. No
Yeah.
denying it. You're getting this pull. But if there's something like, you want to do that, and you're like, yeah, maybe, that's like a no.
Mm. That's a no. Yeah. It was the same, I think,
That's a no.
Christine, for the Healy. Like when I purchased the Healy as well, I know it was a big investment, but every so often, like my husband would ask me, so what is it you're thinking of getting, and what exactly does it do? And I'm like, I don't know, Kevin, but I know that my body needs this. I know that it's like there is a force that's telling me I need to get this, and I learn about it afterwards, but for now I need to get it, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it's so funny. Yeah, it was the same. Yeah, I'm like, because I remember I met you at that lovely day. It was in a Wicklow, and it was like a Healy
Yeah,
event, and it was me, you, Siobhan. We were just like sitting there, like, I don't know, like why I'm here, but I'm here, and like
yeah,
the three of us were like, we just need this in our lives, and it was
yeah.
so funny because and it was just, I love it because it was Nicola, she's from Cork. She introduced me to it, and
Yes.
I was just like, I don't know what it is, but I love it.
Yeah.
And then I got to experiment with it, and I was like, oh
Mm-hmm.
my God, I am just mad after it. And same
Mm-hmm.
as you now, like Kevin was like, what is it? I'm like, I don't know, but I need it. But but I use it now, like, when I'm like, oh, I think I need a few frequencies just to see, and like I love using like the coherence on it or bioenergetic boost or whatever. But like I love like the blue up, because I saw you yesterday, was it the day before, you mentioned it in your stories, you were like, I scanned the blue up, kind of scans what you need, and then the Healy picked up exactly what you needed, and that happens to me constantly. Like a defense support might come up, you're feeling a bit run down, sleep comes up. Like it used to, anyways, I had like few days like really bad sleep with like the eclipse and stuff. It just picks it up, and you just run the programs. I know the girls explain it really well, like Kathy and Nick.
And what my mind as well is like I've run it for a few friends and stuff, that if things are going on for them, and only yesterday or the night before I ran it for a friend, and I had set it up ages ago for her, as in put her profile in, and I have a picture of her, and like she's at the other side of the country, so she's not next or near me, but energy knows no time or space. And I met her last October. We went to a FIA concert, and she had like this skin condition going on in her leg, and I was like, you need to get that looked at, like. And she's like, yeah, okay. So she made an appointment for the doctor after being with me, but it was after that I had run the Healy for her, and the thing that she most resonated with was the skin programs. And like that is something that never come up for me, and I'm like, okay, you still need to get that leg looked at and follow up again. It's just, yeah, it's amazing. And to be able to send frequencies even to her at the other side of the country it's amazing.
Yeah. So you're not using the Healy in your group settings yet, are you? Or are you able to
No,
use it
I'm
in
not,
groups?
because I need to get the Healy coil. I don't have the coil, so I can't.
I know you're doing lots of meditation circles now, and you're doing retreats, and could I ask you about that, because I've seen you're doing forest walks and cacao ceremonies, so there is a good mix of things, and I love to inquire about that, please. I'd love to, because I'm mad to go down to you as well.
I suppose like that, after, starting to drink cacao myself and seeing the benefits of it, I was like, okay, I want to be a cacao facilitator and be able to hold cacao ceremonies. So I signed up to do a course with Sarah Richardson online. And then last May, when I was in Mallorca, I was like, okay, I need to finish this course. So I had a couple of bits to listen to and that. So I finished it in Mallorca, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do my first ceremony at some stage, and then it just dropped in really strongly during a treatment that I was doing on somebody. Often when I'm in that zone, in that quiet space. My dad's birthday is the 15th of June, and my dad will have passed 7 years this August. And my sister had been saying to me about doing something on, like, she has kind of a piece of land on our dad's ancestors' land, if that makes sense. So she had been, saying, would I do something? And I was like, okay, 15th of June, it needs to be Dad's birthday. And it just felt really right. So she had like kind of a teepee for all the world. And that's where I held my first ceremony last June, on a beautiful kind of sunny evening. There was a fire pit outdoors, and there's like a lovely little river by the side of it. And yeah, it was just a lovely evening. And from there, I kind of held a monthly cacao ceremony on the land over the summer. And then I moved into lots of different types of ceremonies. Like, cacao ceremonies really differ from space holder to space holder. There's no right or wrong. But I had discovered this beautiful wooded area So it's called the Island Woods in Newmarket in County Cork. And like that, there's a lovely river flowing through it as well. I always just love the element of water as well. So the mixture of the grounding from the forest and then the water too is just beautiful. So I decided that I'd do a cacao ceremony in the woods with a little bit of a difference. So after having the cacao, that we do like a 5 kilometer walk in silence. And to be honest, even at the start, I was like, I feel like this is going to be more for me than, even the participants, because I was like, there's people going to be there that I, might have seen in a number of months. They could be clients. And like, I'll always be dying to know, oh, well, how are things since our last session? Or, how are things for you? And I was like, I'm not going to be able to ask them any of that. I'm going to have to be in silence too. And I did think, I was like, I wonder now, will I, I didn't want to be like a teacher having to go, shh, like no talking. But everyone really, really loved it. Like, how often do, myself included, how often do we actually go and walk in nature without listening to a podcast or listening to a playlist, catching up on a WhatsApp voice note, and not being fully present? So actually being there, no chat, no talk, and being fully present on the walk is just, it's fab. Like, people just really seem to get a lot from it. And then I suppose I've held a couple of different types of ceremony then since then. I did one with Cacao, and then where we created vision boards, which was lovely. And I did one around grief as well, which was a big ceremony, big in terms of the energy. I kept the group small, but it was big energies. And then in more recent times, I have teamed up with Marzena that I mentioned earlier. So that was a real pinch me moment, because I had been thinking, so I had been holding space with the cacao ceremonies. And then on the other hand, Marzena had been doing so much one-on-one work, for I think 7-8 years. And she would have liked to have got into some group stuff, but didn't feel maybe that she was ready, for that step. So when I mentioned it to her, she was like, yes, definitely we could do something. So to be sitting beside somebody who I felt was, my guru, that's where I started my Lomi massage journey. And I really looked up to her. So to be able to hold space together now is just beautiful. So we have held a lot of mini retreats. Our next one actually is the 26th of May, and we tend to hold them in a space in Limerick called Angel Times. So there's a beautiful shop upstairs, and then they have like a yoga space downstairs. And they're 3-hour retreats that involve a cacao ceremony, hands-on Rahanni, and then Marzena brings her expertise as well. So she does sound therapy and she does shamanic drumming. So we've had really, really lovely feedback, and a lot of people that are returning almost on a monthly basis. So at the moment we've been kind of going through the different chakras. Like last month was all around the throat chakra. And even some of the stories, we felt that the throat would be, a big one, because like that, I think all of us can relate to maybe times that we were told, be quiet, or like your opinion doesn't matter, and we can tend to shut off the throat. So using our voice and expressing our unique tone is so healing. But Marzena was just actually telling me yesterday about one of our attendees who had a sore throat literally from the day after the retreat for a couple of weeks, just showing how much was being released from there. So it's lovely to hear that. So our next one's actually on the root chakra. So all about grounding and support and strength. So that should be exciting as well.
I love- Yeah, I love that. I love that you're concentrating on the chakras as well, because there's so much that we can learn through our chakras, because our chakras are really like our storage facilities. Like, say, our sacral is where we keep all our emotions, and then the root is like security, it's the stability, it's our finances. And if we don't have the foundation, if we don't feel secure in our bodies, everything else is out of like whack, because you don't have the foundation. So you can't build on like something that's not solid. So I find that so cool that you are really concentrating on every single energy center, because it's like a passion of mine. Even there's so much to do with the truth, like all the times that we were repressed and we couldn't really speak our truth or stand up for ourselves, and or when we were told don't speak out of turn or be quiet, or when you wanted to stand up for somebody but then you felt scared. There's just so much that we can unpack just by working with them. So I'm like listening in. I was like, root chakra in May. Like, I really like. Do you have any spaces left, or is it booked out?
We have about 5 spaces left, I think. Yeah, for me.
Okay, I really want to book in, so I'll be on to you after this episode. Yeah, I love the root, because the root is such a big topic. I find every time I work on my root, something else comes up, because there's so much in the root. There is like trial, there is like abandonment, there is there's just so many issues. There's tribal, there's ancestry, ancestral trauma. There is everything is in the root, and unpack, and then there's more to unpack. There's like layers of healing. So and it's just lovely to see how you took that first step just a couple of years ago, and now it's growing into this like lovely community. And I feel like this is where we're going, where like collaboration is what's going to make like this new earth, like make these new communities, and like hold hands together. Like, this was like one of my visions, say one of my words for 2024. Two of my words, sorry, for 2024. One was like transformation, and one was connection. And I'm finding there's so much connection. There's so many people collaborating and just working together, or women working together, which is so cool to see. So before like we wrap up, I have kind of 2 questions I wanted to ask you. So because I know you've started I say a few years ago, and in terms of like business and entrepreneurship, like what do you think was like your kind of biggest breakthrough or your biggest lesson in starting this work, or like just being your own boss? Like, what was the biggest lesson for you?
Oh, I feel like since becoming self-employed, like it makes you see things so differently. First of all, like even just I know at the start I just had so much admiration for anyone who is self-employed. I was like looking at them in a whole different light. I was like, oh my God, you need to have so much trust and surrender. And yeah, that was the first thing. Then I suppose, yeah, like the first couple of weeks and that, even though I'd made the decision, I was doing it, like I thought I'd done a lot of work on myself, and then all of a sudden all these doubts were coming in, all this fear. Are you good enough? All of these things. Just kind of doubting everything, doubting my expertise, doubting all of my abilities. So definitely working through that was hard. I think like anyone else that holds space for others will understand this, that it can be hard to hold space for others as you're moving through your own stuff. And just knowing, I suppose, that your therapist, whether it's massage therapist, Akashic Records, Reiki, whatever, that they're human too, and they have their own challenges. And definitely another thing that I've learned as well is, I suppose at the start there was this tendency, oh God, if my diary wasn't full for the following week, I'd be, feeling nervous and almost looking ahead and what if, and it's the what ifs, I suppose. Now I feel like I've settled much more into it. I am trusting that for the most part, if there is a quiet week ahead, that it's okay, I actually need to just have a quieter week that week. And it often tends to coincide with my cycle and everything, because as I am often saying to women too, like, we're not robots. We're cyclical beings. We're not meant to be going at the same speed all month. So if I'm busy around ovulation week, great, and then as the weeks go by, I know I need to be slowing down a bit as well. And definitely not, I suppose, going from having a wage every week and knowing exactly what's going to go into your account. I definitely have learned not to do your accounts every week if you're, even starting out this journey, and just trusting. And it has been the case that, over a month that everything's okay. That all the figures are working out as they should be, I suppose, but not checking every week, or you'd freak yourself out, I think.
I think that's why it's so important. You're doing like such good work in terms of working with the root chakra, and we always need to be working with the root and making sure that we're in balance, because if we are not, we can start freaking out, because when we are not in our body, we can just get into our heads, and then the anxiety and the stress comes. So I can totally resonate where I'm like, okay, get into the body. Things will fall into place when they need to, and it's all about patience and taking it slow. And I'm so, I suppose, programmed, and maybe that's not the word. You need to be doing things constantly. Hard work will pay off, and I understand hard work does pay off, but it's all about, when you're in this kind of work, it's more of surrendering and trusting, and it is okay to take your time. Like, you don't need to rush and be somewhere. Like, it's more about being in the present moment and enjoying the journey, like, and where you are, because we so forget, because like we can be so hyper focused, be like, I need to be there, and you stress yourself out by doing that, like by constantly focusing on the future. So for me as well, it's like being in this line of work, it's like you were saying, we're cyclical beings, and it's okay to take rests, and it's okay to be busy and then take a rest again. It's kind of like this levels. It's not linear. It's never linear. You can't predict anything. Ebbs and flows,
Even like thinking back to January as well, like I know at the start of January, like when I went on to Instagram, and Instagram can be a real love-hate relationship for me, but like I was seeing, I tend to follow a lot of like self-help kind of holistic pages as well, because I just go into my business page. I actually don't use my personal page anymore, but at the start of January, I was seeing all these offerings, and I was like overwhelmed first of all about, okay, what do I want to attend? And then this pressure of, okay, why amn't I in that state of, putting out offerings? Why is that not what feels right to me right now? So before, I probably would have pushed through that and gone, okay, I'll put out an offering. And to me, if I did, I'd have been putting it out in the wrong energy anyway. Whereas I feel like that's probably one of the breakthroughs or the biggest growth, biggest growth that I've had, even since becoming self-employed, is learning to trust that, no, now is not the right time for you, Aisling, to put out an offering, listening to that, sitting with that, even if that's uncomfortable. Sure enough, I'm going to say a week later, I had been saying I wanted to have some form of sound in my space. And I had Kira from Smudge Studio. She came to me and she gifted me a meditation bell. And I was like, oh, fab, I'm going to end my treatments now with this bell. And when Kira left, I didn't put anything on Instagram or anything because I was having a real no, I'm pulling back. I'm minding my own energy. And the following evening, I was messaged by somebody locally in the community to say, Aisling, would you be interested in running a meditation group locally? And first of all, my initial thing was like, yes, yes, yes. It was like an immediate, yeah, like my body wanted to do it. It was moving towards it. It was lit up. Yeah. So I put out that offering, and I ended up actually having to run not having to run, but opted to run a second class because there was such an uptake. For a small community, I was actually blown away by it. So I was just, I suppose, really proud of myself that I'd actually listened to what my body needed, hadn't pushed through that, because by pushing through it, you end up resenting maybe taking on more work when it's not the right time. And listening to that, and then the universe rewarding me for that, like Kira giving me the bell, and then being asked to do this meditation group. And what turned out, as a 4-week block ended up running into an 8-week block, as in another 4 weeks. And last night I just started a 4-week block in a different venue. So I had been saying to the universe, I really love doing group work, and that seems to be becoming bigger and bigger. So that's probably my biggest breakthrough. So sorry that I went from one scenario to coming back around.
Yeah, to see the little steps and how you're like starting from one-to-ones, and you're still doing one-to-ones, but you're growing and you're doing all these groups, and it's just trusting the process. Like you said, I've also felt that initial, when you push too hard, or you're pushing, and you're like, why am I pushing? I always say it feels yucky to me. It doesn't feel good. It feels like I get repelled by that, even energy myself. I'm like, no, I'm taking a step back, because social media as well, it can be this kind of mask, and there's just distraction after distraction. But what I'm finding lately, I am not scrolling as much, because I'm just kind of coming on, checking the messages, and then kind of jumping off again, and it inspired in some kind of, I love memes and stuff. You just having a few kind of spiritual memes, I just be skitting at them, but just to, all about raising the frequency. Yeah, it has the good and the bad, and I love what your breakthrough is, because I think a lot of people can resonate with that, because we're so conditioned and pushing and going, and success means you have to be on all the time, and you can really feel it from Instagram sometimes. I made 6K in 2 days, and I'm like, do you want to know how? I'm like, actually no, because that stresses me out, because it's just pushing. It's just too much pushing, too much. And don't get me wrong, strategy is important to business, of course, but I find with me, I can't plan. I think maybe I need some help with that. If anybody's listening, I don't know, but I can't strategize. So if you're listening, if you're a good a business mentor, I can, if somebody says, do you have a 1-year plan? I don't. I'm like, I don't know, Aisling, do you have a 1-year plan? Or is it just me?
That's funny. You're a manifesting generator as well? No.
I am a generator, but I'm a 2-4. But sometimes I feel there is I'm a manifesting generator, because I really feel like I am, but I am a generator, but I'm a sacral being as well. Okay. And I need, and I'm a 2-4 as well. I'm like, sorry, go on.
I know it was said to me in my session as well that for manifesting generators, so this could be from the generator side, you'll have to look it up, but 5-year plans and that, no way, they don't and it's not something that I've ever bought into. It actually, in fact, it's come up recently, even about dates for like things maybe 2 months in advance, or I'm like, not sure about that. I prefer, and I suppose maybe that's coming back to even like mindfulness. I prefer to like be in the moment as much as possible, and not plan too far ahead. It doesn't work for me, and it doesn't drive me either. I'd rather
it's kind
be
of going
able to
against
go.
your
Yeah, I'm going against my I suppose
design.
my natural flow. And that's another thing for manifesting generators. We can like be really lit up by things, and we can see things through very quickly, but we can also decide to go off in a different direction. So we can, what'll I say, lose our love for something quite quickly as well. And I think even knowing that now has made me much more accepting of that, because for somebody else on the outside, they might be like, what is she doing? She's started over here doing Lomi massage. Now she's doing energy healing. She's just done mindfulness for kids. That one doesn't know what she's up to. Whereas for me, I'm just following where the passion is.
I'm totally the same. Yeah, because my friend was like, stop doing all the courses. She's like, why do you need all these courses? I'm like, but I want to know. I want to know how to do this. I want to know how to do that. I think what might happen is I might use them kind of together. I could just use parts of the stuff that I know. Like even say for you, you're like, well, like I'm doing Lomi massage, but then I'm like, well, I can use Cacao, I can use my meditation, I can use like everything in it, Rahanni, because you're not losing those skills, you have them. So I think that's so cool about it. I've been saying, people be like, what is your own up to? It's like, but it's our design. It's just we're following the breadcrumbs, we're doing what lights us up. So that's gas. Well, thank you so much for your time. I completely enjoyed our chat together. And how can people find you, like on Instagram? And I know we said North Cork, and I know you said you have an upcoming workshop and stuff coming up.
Retreat, so I am on Instagram at Kala, Kala massage therapy. Or if you're not on Instagram, I do have an email address, and it is Kala Lomi massage LOMI @gmail.com.
Brilliant. So I will leave all your information in the show notes so people can find you easily. Thank you so much. Really enjoyed our chat together.
Thanks a million, Christine. Bye.
Thank you for allowing me to be your guide on this cosmic and entrepreneurial journey. I hope this episode inspired you in some way and would love to hear your thoughts. So send me a message on my Instagram at christinemar.co, and don't forget to subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and share this episode with a friend. Until next time.